Mask Off by Future brings out so many memories, just so many memories. Just like, but one memory that's sticking out right now is the one where I was working at UPS, and it was a hell of a job. Like, so much hard labor goes into it, and we don't really think about those jobs because we're like, we'll never do them ever in our life. But you really have to have somebody that's watching you in order for you to figure out, like, all right, I shouldn't be doing this job, I shouldn't be doing this job, maybe I should do this job. But I was thinking about also the Pink Molly part. The Pink Molly really got to me because I forgot when this song was released. You can search that up. Let's search that up real quick. When was Mask Off released? Future. So Mask Off was released in February 17th, 2017. And around 2017, I'm not really sure what I was doing. All I know is that I was selling weed at that point in time. You know what I mean? I was doing my thing, I was selling weed. And when this song came on, and then I tried sassafras for the first time, it was just like, oh my gosh, pink Molly, I could barely move. It wasn't pink. The Molly that I tried wasn't pink, it was golden brown. So it was like gold Molly. But the fact that he said Molly blew me away because he was like, pink Molly, I could barely move. And I was just like, bro, I could barely move my damn self. Like, this really happens. And I don't know where they get these ideas from. I don't know if they're real life experiences. They must be real life experiences because the stuff that these rappers talk about is so out of this world. And you're just wondering, like, where do they get the material from? And it's really from real life experiences with drugs. Drugs changes the whole perspective of the whole situation. All right, things can go really either really really good or it can go really really bad. And unfortunately with drugs, when things go bad, things go real real bad. Not only is it just like, okay, this guy is gonna shoot up this place, or we piss somebody off, they're gonna come in here with weapons and get us. Like, that is the least of your worries. You know what I mean? Like, when everything is going good, a gun is the least of your worries. It's mental illness that really steps in, and it's like you don't see the other dangers of it. Like, what people only show on television is just like, oh, he has a gun, he's gonna go shoot up the place. But that isn't what you're worried about. It's about, oh my gosh, my friend just lost his mind and we can't get him back. We have to like take him to the hospital or something like that, and we got to figure something out, and we're going to have to get doctors involved. And it's not a gunshot wound, but it's a wound to the mind. But you know, I really do want to start talking about that, like mental illnesses and what they are. I believe that it's a gene that creates superpowers. Like, what else would you compare it to? You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you're hearing voices, you're seeing things, you have rapid mood swings, and you're believing in stuff that's not even there. You believe like the police is after you, but the police is not after you, and stuff like that. And what does it get triggered by? It gets triggered by drugs, Schedule One substances, or recreational substances. So people don't want you to say this. Like, they're gonna, like, you know what? Drugs are bad. Drugs are real bad. And yes, they They kind of are, but it's like the situation tells you if it's bad or not. Like if tell me how this goes. If everybody has their drug fuel under control, how does the situation play out? And it plays out perfectly. Like everybody's having a great time. When nothing is going wrong, everybody's having a great time. Like it's everybody's on this high that they're riding, and that's what we're trying to figure out. We're just trying to figure out how do we get that high to stay that high. How do we do that? You know what I mean? But yeah, that's all these people are working towards, and that's what I was working towards. And unfortunately, I ran into a problem. You know what I mean? Like you know how they say like too much drugs can get you in a big problem. But for some other people, they can take as much drugs as they want and they're perfectly fine. They have a 9 to 5. Like Henry, for example, he was a freaking realtor and he's doing Molly, he's doing acid, he's smoking weed, he's doing DMT, and he's perfectly fucking fine. He's living life. He's gay and he has a husband. And you know that's not going to pan out, but whatever, who cares? His husband is a DMT dealer, and he just goes to festivals and just has fun like that. So there are people that can do it and they're perfectly fine. So the problem is, I believe the problem is with us. The problem is not the drugs, it's us. We can't figure it out. We want it. We clearly want it. You know what I mean? People clearly want these things to work, but it just does not work for us. And we need to figure out how to make it work because the benefits that we get from it are astronomical. But I just saw a video the other day about how weed affects the brain, and apparently it makes people slower. It makes their judgment slow. The brain starts to shrink a little bit, and the brain doesn't look too good. And these doctors are fighting it, fighting it, fighting it. But the question should be, how do we get these drugs to work with human beings, not the other way around? Because there's most doctors that just want to stop it altogether. We can't do that. We can't go back to the dark ages. Can't keep doing that. We have to figure out a way to make it work. We can't keep going back to the dark ages. It doesn't work that way. You keep illegalizing it, and now people are getting hurt because you made it illegal. You know what I mean? We need to step up, step up. But I'm gonna end it right here. I don't know what I'm thinking. I wanted to capture all of my thoughts and my talking thoughts because I write a lot, but I don't talk a lot. And I wanted to capture that. So by doing it like this, where I'm recording and then I stop recording and it compiles into the whole day, maybe I can get something like that. Maybe something will work. I really do like speak things into existence. Like this is why I make videos and I do recordings and stuff like that because when you talk to yourself, you know how they say you manifest things. And really I want to manifest my life. You know what I mean? Like how can you do that and how does that help? Like I would tell a person, all right, the only way manifesting works is if you actually talk to yourself. You can't imagine it. You can't sit there and meditate on it. Like that's not going to work. You know, you're not going to sit there. You need to do something. Just like if you want to get high, you can't get high sitting at home playing with your thumbs. You have to go out there, buy a eighth or a dub or a dime. After you buy that, you go home. I mean, you go to the corner store and then you buy a leaf, and then you come home and then you roll it up and you smoke it. That's how you get high. it's not these natural highs that people talk about. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like there's no natural high, unfortunately. Uh, that won't happen for you. You have to do something. You have to do something. When people say they're sober and they get high, and when they're sober, they don't get high anymore. They feel like they're on top of the world. Yeah, that's because you know what they're doing? They're buying stuff. They're eating whatever food that they want. They're riding daily. They're doing things. It's a natural high is not. And then they're drinking coffee. Like they're still getting high one way or another. You know what I mean? You have to do something. It's not it's not as straightforward as you think. When you want to manifest something, this is what I would tell a person. Record yourself and see what you talk about the most because people are scared of being repetitive on these stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. We're scared to do anything. And for us to figure out how to, get stuff going and really manifest things, you have to start doing stuff. You have to start manifesting for real. No offense, but all offense taken. I'm going to start making that a thing now. No offense, but all offense taken. But the shit that May wants to do is fucking stupid, dude. Like, she's like, I'm good at everything. And I'm just like, okay, no, you're not. You're not good at everything. You're good at some things. But if you were good at let's say I was looking up rings right now and I found some jewelry making stuff and I was just like, she would probably want to do this. But she doesn't have the drive to do it. Like she wants to make the drive up. You know what I mean? Like make it up, make believe that it's there. Like, did you think that Jeff Bezos was wanting to build a business and he was just sitting there playing with himself, just like, well, maybe I'm gonna do it today, maybe I'm gonna do it tomorrow? No, he found himself doing it every single day, and it's all about. This comes back to passion, what I was talking about. It's something that you're good at, that you do every day, and you don't even realize it. Like I'm sitting here looking at her, I'm like, you are dumb because what do you do every day? What do you annoy me with every day? You talk about it all the time. You love to talk. If you love to talk, why don't you make like a freaking talk show where it's all natural? And that's what I try to drill into her head. Like, bro, do something that is natural. Stop doing shit that's not real. Stop making up stuff in your head that you want to do because you see other people being successful doing it and you want to do it just to feel good about yourself. You know, it's hard because when you talk a lot, you don't see the work that gets done behind the scenes in order to get that person recorded. You know what I mean? Just the recording part, just get interested in the small things in life because you're getting interested in the big things when you're just like, oh, I want to create bracelets so that people can buy. What do you want to be on the side of the street like people in New York selling your shit and it's cold as hell, it's about 20 degrees outside and you're outside trying to sell a scarf? Is that what you want to do? Like, do you really think that's a passion? No, they found themselves in that position where they had to do it. You don't have to do anything. But so if you don't have to do anything, you're in a position of great findings because at rest, when you are resting, that's when you're most lethal. You know what I mean? Because when you're well rested, it's just like a freaking army. What do you want your army to do? You want them to be well rested, but you want to keep finding things that are not viable. And you want to keep pushing your soldiers to fight uphill, even though if you just waited a day and you walked around the corner, you would have been on equal footing with the enemy. But no, you want to keep driving uphill. It's ridiculous. A lot of people do this. I'm not just picking on May. A lot of people do this. They don't realize what is right in front of them. And it sucks because I have to work with you and you're not happy while you're working and I'm just trying to get everything going, but you're not happy. It becomes a problem for everyone when you don't pay a person the right price because, it's not that person that is the only one that is thinking at that point. You know what I mean? So when I was telling Belinda and I was telling May, they're getting mad because they're like, that's not enough. And I know how Belinda and May are, like May doesn't clean, Belinda doesn't do work that requires her to use any physical force. So I know how they work. And the method that they've used throughout life doesn't work for me, unfortunately, because I can't say no to certain types of stuff. Like, they would say no to working at a fast food restaurant. They would be like, absolutely not, I'm not doing it. I'll wait. And I wish I had that patience. So that's where my alter ego comes in, where it's just like, all right, there is somebody that will speak up for you. But that person that speaks up for you is yourself because your mom can't walk into your job and be like, pay him more, you're paying him too cheaply. You know what they say, they're going to be like, okay, just go elsewhere, just like wait it out and we'll get you a job. But like the kid that's like antsy, that's like, I need money now, I'm just going to get any job that I can. There's two different types of people in society, and I noticed that. And I want to be like those people that turn down jobs when they think that they aren't being respected enough for it. I wish I can do that. So I admire those people, but I don't think that I have that in me. And I find myself in a lot of situations where it doesn't uh I find myself in situations where they pay you low for what you do, and I find myself in situations where I am getting offered a job that nobody else would get offered. You know what I mean? So it feels like a privilege at first, and then they're like, here, this is how much I'll pay you. And then that's when I'm just like, you know what, that's ridiculous. It's not enough. So when I worked for this one guy, this one old gentleman, he decided to pay me $25 an hour. And, that doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people because if you were to cut that person's grass and it only takes you an hour to cut it, then it's only $25. And then you're just like, you know what, that doesn't even seem like a lot. But it typically happens like this, where it's like $25 an hour. He makes you stay for 5 hours. That's $250, I think that is. Just off the top of my head. So, and when you think about it, it's like $25 an hour. I don't even get that anywhere. Where do you get that from? Only if you're a manager at Costco or if you're a supervisor at Costco, that's when you get paid $25 an hour. So I'm just meeting this guy on the street and he's offering to pay me $25 an hour. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people don't get those opportunities, and I get those opportunities. So it's really hard for me to try to set a price with everybody because I'm like, well, they're doing a nice thing for me. But at the same time, you have to be able to stand up for yourself. You know what I mean? And I don't have that in me. And that's a problem until I figured out that I did have it in me, that I'm looking at everything at a different perspective because 10, 15 years ago, I would have taken the job and not have thought about it. Like my sister would have said, "You're not getting paid enough," and I would just shake my head and I would just be like, "Okay, I'm not getting paid enough." But now I'm like, "No, you aren't getting paid enough." The person that's saying it is me. It's not anybody else at this point because it's usually somebody else that says it, and then you think that they're just naming something ridiculous out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, you look at that person and you're just like, you're spoiled. It's not anything else because I don't get those opportunities that you get. So it's like Belinda can easily turn down people because she's like, all I have to do is go back to school and I have parents that'll pay for it. Like it's the privilege that talks. And then you have a person like me where it's like, I'm not good at school. I'm not I can't go back to school to get a better job. I have to work with what I got. And that's typically what I was doing, working with what I had. So I do have a lot of respect for those people that can turn down different jobs whenever they want to. And I have nothing to say to them. Like I can't be mad at them for what they do. They do skew everything real bad because it's like the only people that get into Costco are those people that are stubborn. You know what I mean? Those people that applied and waited 2 years to get into that job. You know what I mean? While you're freaking out, you're like, I can't wait a year, and then you go in, you get the job at Arby's, and then you don't look anywhere else. And these people, even if they get a job at Arby's, they have their head on a swivel where they're just like, I'm still looking for a better job if I can get, and then they end up working at a bank. You know what I mean? It's those people. There's a lot of those people out there. But what have I learned at the end of the day, bro? Maybe you shouldn't be working. I'm gonna turn this whole world around. Watch, I'm going to. I rediscovered the Fugees back when I was going through a manic phase. And I hate to call it manic, but that's what it was. I was hearing voices and whatnot. But I got into the shower. I didn't take showers much. You know what I mean? Because the bathroom was terrible. Like it really needed to be remodeled. Like the living conditions that they make you live in New Brunswick is absolutely atrocious. But they don't make any real money from the students, so they can't really renovate. All they can do is own the place, and then whoever's the next person that comes in, they don't really complain too much because they're students. They don't know any better. They come from a house that's really clean and whatnot, but then they come into an apartment and they're just happy that it's their own place. So that was a that was a real problem there. So I went to take a shower, and I'm sitting there, I'm trying to like listen to music, but all I hear is voices. So I'm just preoccupied. I don't even need music at this point. And then I kind of hear the Fugees playing, and then I hear Lauren Hill saying like, "Yeah, yeah, that boy is real. That boy is real." And you guys don't understand how it is to have schizophrenia and to experience something that most people do not experience. It changes you. You know what I mean? It literally change your mind literally changes. It changes so much that doctors have to say, "Okay, this is a disease. This person hears voices, this person hallucinates, auditory hallucination, visual hallucination, probably has mood swings and can't really control themselves." They're explaining it like that, but they don't get the full description of it. You know what I mean? Like it changes that person. That person now believes, like for me, for example, it's like now I believe that I'm famous. Like no matter what you say, I am famous. I don't need to prove myself to anybody anymore because this already happened. You know what I mean? So that changed my whole perspective in life. Now my whole existence now is about fame. You know what I mean? Like what can I do with it and what can I bring to the table? It's not like I'm just saying like I'm famous now. I want to be famous. No, it's like, yo, bro, I'm recording, I'm making videos, I'm writing. I write like crazy. I have stuff to bring to the table. I have so many ideas to bring to the table and it's ridiculous. People don't explain it to the fullest. But when I rediscovered the Fugees, it was amazing. I definitely rediscovered them a little bit later again, where I was working for Instacart. This was like 2 or 3 years after my big break, and I was working Instacart, and I was out in the suburbs, like the richer part of the Edison, richer part of New Jersey. I don't know, Edison, Perth Amboy, the richer part, bigger houses and everything. And I was just sitting there like, yo, the Fugees, like, yeah, I'm feeling it. If I rule the world, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh.